Can we agree that the FEMA-administered National Flood Insurance Program risk rating 2.0 is woefully inadequate? Mr. Heller?
Yes.
Ms. Morris? Ma'am?
Yes.
Jerry, since I can't say your last name.
I would not say that it's woefully inadequate.
Okay. Imperfect as it is, does it make sense to you, Mr. Heller, to allow the National Flood Insurance Program to expire?
No, it doesn't. Short of getting a better solution in there, we need to have that backstop, and we absolutely should keep that around until we can.
We're not likely to get that better solution in a few weeks, are we?
No, we're not, but I'm glad that.
Do you think it makes sense, Ms. Norris, to allow it to expire?
I do not think it makes sense for it to expire. It needs to continue to be funded and reformed as needed.
All right. Mr. Jerry?
Thank you for the question. I think it should be allowed to continue, and not with a short-term 1-2 month kicking the can down the road.
Right.
I think there needs to be some more certainty about the availability of insurance. So I think a long-term reauthorization, 5 years, maybe 10 years, is more in order.
Right. Ms. Norris, if the world became carbon neutral by 2050, do you believe that would solve a lot of the problems of the costs of flood insurance and property casualty insurance?
Well, Senator, that's a pretty loaded question, and I'm not a scientist, but I do think, number one, that that's a wonderful thing to think about. I would love to know that we could get there.
Well, I've thought about it, and I'm hopefully you have too. But
I have
can tell
thought
you
about
don't
it.
want to answer my question, Mr. Heller. What do you think?
It's not going to solve the property insurance crisis that we have now. It is part of the risk projection, as was discussed earlier. We're trying to make risk plans for years going into the future. So we have to begin to solve that problem.
All right.
In the meantime, but
You don't think it will solve the problem?
it's not going to solve today's problem. No, we need to take more.
All right. How about you, Mr. Jerry?
I think it's a solution to a different issue, to one of pollution and to emissions, and what are we going to do during the transition going from fossil fuels to renewables?
Okay. If you were king for a day, Mr. Jerry, tell me what you would do to fix the problem of the cost of property and casualty insurance today.
I would shine a spotlight on the areas where there's disruption and dislocation and
What does that
disequilibrium. It means to
Give me 3 specific things you would do, just top line, to fix the cost problem today, in English.
have the California legislature to repeal Proposition 103, to have Florida continue its tort reforms where it has eliminated the abuses from
All right, that's 2.
And the third one is to educate the public about how insurance works. I think that
Yeah, they know how it works. It's called write a check. And then you have to sell blood plasma to go to the grocery store, which you probably have to do anyway because of President Biden's inflation. Give me 3 things you would do, Mr. Heller.
Thank you. No shiny objects, as Mr. Jerry was talking about, Mr. Theodorou. We need to be putting money into protecting homes, making sure the levees are strong, making sure the communities
Okay,
invest in
government
infrastructure.
subsidies, that's number 1.
I would call it government alternative
Call
to
it
spending.
anything you want. It's
Alternative
taxpayer
to
money.
spending
What's number
emergency
2?
disasters. Number 2 is build a federal reinsurance program like TRIA. When businesses in America, when commercial sector was afraid they weren't going to be able to get terrorism insurance anymore because of 9/11, we came in and we've created a solution.
So the government gets into the reinsurance business. What's number 3?
Let's get all of the regulators on the ball in the states. Move it down to the states. Get them on the ball to actually go through some of the data, because when we look at the data coming in from these insurance
Okay, that's
companies,
number 3. Get the regulators on the ball. What's number 4?
Oh wow, I get 4. Thank you, Senator. Well, I think number 4 is to address for the needs of lower and moderate income people by making sure that we are not creating an insurance market that slices and dices and prices people based on their socioeconomic status with things like these credit penalizing good, safe homeowners
Let me give
with
Ms.
credit
Can I
penalties.
give Ms. Norris a chance, Mr. Chairman?
And then your time expires when she answers,
I'm sorry, Mr. Sherrod.
without comments.
Mr. Sherrod, can I give, Mr. Sherrod said I can give you a chance to answer, Ms.
If I
Norris.
give you just two, first of all, I'm going to affirm everything that was just mentioned. Number one is we need to invest in ways of being able to get our communities and our buildings resilient.
Okay, government subsidies, that's number one.
And number
two,
two is to create this reinsurance program. We've got to stabilize the markets.
get the government in the reinsurance
Yes.
business.
Yes, and then I
Okay,
would say.
thank you.
yes.
Thank you, Senator John.